Welcome. Thanks for coming today. We will start with men's basketball. Coach Mike Neighbor, the Statesman, will play Mississippi College, which is the final game before we return to action after the holidays on January 2nd versus Shorter. Game times for men will be 4 p.m. on Saturday as well as when we come back from break. But Mississippi College will come in here with a record of 5-4, and the Statesmen lead the all-time series 59-37-1. As we approach this game, we will bring Coach Mike Neighbor up, and then we will introduce and bring up Coach Roden for women's basketball after that.
Thank you. Again, we have Mississippi College coming up. I guess the biggest thing with our team right now is maybe that we should have the trainer in here to discuss what's going on. She came into my office this morning, and I said, if you don't have something good to tell me, just get out of here. But we have had some struggles with injuries, and not to make excuses, but when you look on the bench and you see three guys in street clothes that would be in your starting lineup, it's doesn't make things easy, but we're continuing. I told the guys the other day it's very frustrating because I really feel like we are better right now. We're 4-6. The last two games we literally played without three. One of them, Aaron, who has been our most consistent, our best player, that was Gulf South. Our best week was when we beat Lane here and then went up and won at Lemoyne. That was two quality Division II wins. Those are the best two wins we have right now. And that week, the team that was coming together, I thought we were really, really beginning to move in the right direction. And, of course, we got up to Lemoyne, which turned out to be a really good win other than the fact that we lost Zach in that game. And, after coming off of 14, 15 rebounds against Lane, but we survived that game and, went forward. But it's just been a struggle. We had to bring Malik off of a redshirt year. We were planning on redshirting one of our freshmen, and we got on the road trip in Alabama in the Gulf South and had two games there, and we got to watching him work out, and we literally decided to pull him off a redshirt the day before we played at Montevallo because we're just looking at our numbers. Cam was hurt then also, so we had both of our big guys out at that time. So it's been one thing after another, but I told the guys yesterday or 2 days ago at practice, we're better than our record right now. I was watching Sports Center the other day and noticed the bottom line, and the records flashed up, and I saw the Golden State's record, and I don't follow the NBA very much. But, I followed enough to know that Golden State's been pretty good in recent years. And I looked up there, and their record was one worse than the Grizzlies at the time. They were like 4-13 or something like that. I don't know what they are now, but I thought, you know what? When your players are hurt, you don't win. And it's difficult to replace that many guys. But the good news is we're getting a couple of them back. We played the last two games without our point guard and essentially without Aaron, both of those games. So we are getting those two back. We should be getting at least at 80%. Zach Barnum, it looks like it's going to take a little longer, and that may be looking more like a medical red shirt. But we're continuing to work at it, and I feel like if we've got those two guys, this Saturday is a very winnable game. I think the other two that we lost going into the exam break would have been very winnable if we had just had those two available at 100%. So, like I said, I feel positive about what we've got coming up. If we play well, we've got 3 straight home games coming up here. This one leading into Christmas, and then 2 straight coming back from Christmas. So hopefully we can get on a little bit of a roll before we have to make that long trip to West Florida and Valdosta in the first week of January, the second week of January. So I'm open for questions.
Obviously, the injuries hurt, right now, but down the road, do you think that helps your team in the sense that a lot of guys are getting to play minutes that they weren't going to play early in the season?
It's a silver lining possibility, and we've talked about that with the guys coming off the bench, that you're getting an opportunity now. Before the two injuries that happened right before exams, there's always, and it's a normal thing. There's probably 3 or 4 guys that weren't playing the kind of minutes that they'd hoped to be playing, and we probably had individual meetings where they came in wanting to talk about, what do I got to do to play more? Normal thing, and it's the kind of thing I tell the guys when they come in complaining about playing time. You want your guys on the bench to be upset about playing time. I mean, you want them to understand what they've got to do to get it. But I say, hey, it's an opportunity that they're getting, and it's some experience, and it's definitely going to play forward as far as trying to figure out who needs to be playing significant minutes. So it definitely, that is a potential silver lining. I would rather have them all back, but it is, and we got some young guys that are getting extra minutes. That's the other thing. I mean, we've got 3 freshmen playing now since we moved Malik Cartwright in, took his red shirt away. And Malik is one of those guys that is getting better with each game. He was unable to practice until October 20th. So he was coming off a knee injury that happened in state tournament in Arkansas last year and hadn't been able to play for, he was off of it for 6 months. Getting him back, getting him going, every minute he can play right now is a benefit for him, and that's a classic example. But even the other 2 freshmen, they're getting to play more minutes because of those guys being hurt. Now, they were playing, Sav and Austin were both playing significant minutes, since Austin's been starting even before those injuries, but they're definitely, their minutes are higher than they would have been.
You say you have 3 starters currently not playing.
Right. Now, we should have 2 of them back Saturday. That's the plan, if I don't hurt them in practice between now and Saturday. So, but we're going to try not to do that. So that's where we are.
How beneficial? Of course, we talk about the injuries and stuff. How beneficial has this layoff been?
That's a good question, because when I looked at the schedule originally, we kind of, the same way we were scrambling to put a team together, we were scrambling to finish the schedule. There was still a lot of work that needed to be done on the schedule when I really officially started there the first part of May. And when I looked at it as the schedule came together, I was really not excited about the fact that we had 2 weeks off before this Mississippi College game. You just don't want that long a layoff between 2 games when you're in the middle of the season. But it turned out to be a positive thing, because we definitely needed these 2 weeks. We gave them 4 days off last week for exams, so they could just focus on that. I said 2 things to work on. Number 1, take care of your classes. Number 2, get in the training room around that. Was the big marching orders as I left town to go recruiting last week. So it did turn out to be a positive thing.
Have you had a season like this where you've had 3 starters injured all at once?
I've never had. That's one of those things as a coach. And of course, I've had a lot of time to reflect on it with a week and a half since our last game. I've never had this many players out at one time. So and again, we all have our injuries to deal with. It's part of the game. I mean, but this has been, to have it all happen, and then you throw in the fact that we've had. Cam and Zach were pretty much going to share that 5 spot, was the plan going into the year. And we've had a lot of those games. We went on that road trip, that first conference road trip. That's when we decided to pull Malik off the red shirt, because they were both out. So we had 2 5s out then. And that 5 position in Princeton offense is really the most critical position. And now we're trying to get a freshman to learn that under fire. And he's making progress, but our offense has a real drop-off as far as the execution, because, again, you got a freshman out there who wasn't even able to practice preseason to get ready for what he's having to do right now.
From the last time we spoke, the last press conference before the season, your tone has kind of changed about this team. It seems a lot more positive than when we talked last time. Talk about what's kind of changed outside of, guys getting to step up and play.
Yeah, I didn't realize I wasn't that positive before the season. I thought, but no, but again, I mean, I think there's a, and this is something that I mentioned to the kids when we were talking about kind of trying to get them together after exams. It was going to be difficult bringing all these new players together, you know, because again, we're so much starting from scratch. I mean, we had really 2 returning players, 2 scholarship players returning, and only one that had real quality Gulf South experience. And again, I still think we've got a nucleus of pretty good Division II Gulf South level basketball players. If I've got all 5, 6, 7, our top 5, 6, 7 players, if they're all there ready to play, I think we can compete with anybody on a given night. You know, again, though, that being said, you're still trying to bring all these guys together, and not the easiest offense in the world to learn. And it's going to take time, and that's part of it. But the injuries have definitely thrown a wrench into the best laid plans, and you know, so we're scrambling, and you know, we're going to keep working. I told the guy, I said, you know, obviously this would be really big for us. You know, unfortunate that we're playing Mississippi College when school's out. You know, and the great Gulf South Conference scheduling, but you know, it's unfortunate that we're not going to have the students here for the Mississippi College game. But this is, for us, going into Christmas, this would be a major game, just psychologically, for us to be able to go in on a win. It's really big, and again, you know, I think it's a very winnable game with the guys we have available if we play well. Good. Thank you.